What's up, guys? I've got an awesome guitar to show you guys today. Lo and behold, this is the Charvel Desolation Series SK1-ST Skatecaster guitar. And this is an awesome guitar for the money. I was blown away by how much guitar I got for the price that I paid for this. This is a little bit of history on this guitar. This guitar, the original. This is based on the original Charvel Surfcaster guitars from the early '90s. It came out in '91, I believe. And those guitars were actually designed quite a bit differently from this one. They were more of a they had lipstick pickups in them, single coils, and bolt-on necks. They were very, very Fenderish, but they still had this offset body, and they were designed for for surf music. That real kind of cleaner, quackier type of sound with the reverb cranked up, and that you get what I would refer to as beach music, wipeout kind of stuff. That's the kind of tones that the original one was designed for. They quit making those in 2005. And in the sometime there in the late 90s, Charvel, of course, had already been owned by Jackson, and Jackson sold out to Fender. Fender resurrected the line here a couple years ago and brought out the Desolation series. And there's all kinds of, they've got several different body styles. This just happened to be the one that I stumbled into, and the one that I bought. And this one, now they redesigned it. They called it the Skatecaster, and it's definitely designed a lot more for for my kind of music, hard rock, heavy metal. More my playing style. And like I said, I've been very, very impressed with it. The Musician's Friend. I was reading some reviews on it before I did this. Before I decided to do this review, and I was reading some online reviews, and it seems like most people bought them at the same time that I did, which was about a year ago, when Musician's Friend actually ran this guitar in this finish in a stupid deal of the day. These guitars brand new went for $649, and they sold them that day, I think, for 1 hour only for $199. So there is a ton of these things out there that people only pay $200, and that's good and bad. It's good for players that were looking for a real high quality guitar for an excellent price. That's a pretty tough deal to beat. The bad thing that deal did was a lot of people bought them, and it absolutely decimated the used market on these things. So when you go to look up what these things are actually selling for on eBay, you're gonna I didn't see too many of them getting up over the $300 mark. Most of them were selling right around $250. Which still, if you're looking to pick one of these up, that's probably going to be where you have to go. I noticed that these are no longer on Charvel's website. They're no longer on Guitar Center's website. Sweetwater, that they appear to have been discontinued. So, when I got mine, I pulled it right out of the box, and I tuned it up, and I didn't have to mess with it. No neck adjustments, no saddle adjustments. Nothing. Tuned it up, and it was ready to play. No fret buzz. It was set up awesome. A couple things. It's got the this particular finish. I think it's called Blue Fade. I think is the actual name of that color. That I believe is a veneer maple top as opposed to a solid maple. But I do believe it's a veneer. I haven't actually pulled out the pickups and looked in the inside to be able to know for sure, but I'm 90% sure it's a veneer. Real active EMG pickups. EMG 81 in the bridge, 85 in the neck. Probably the most popular, EMG active combination out there. That's the one that most people seem to go after. I think both the Zach Wild signature EMGs, the Kerry King signature EMGs, I think maybe even the Gus G's. Most of the signature model EMGs actually are based off of that model. Kirk Hammett actually doesn't use a signature EMG model. He just uses 281s, both the bridge and the neck. So that's how Metallica gets their tone. To a degree anyway. That's the pickups that he uses. Real simple controls. 3-way, three-way pickup selector, neck, both, or I'm sorry, bridge pickups all the way down, both pickups, and then all the way on the neck. A single volume knob, master volume, and that's it. There's no tone, no tone knobs to roll off treble or anything like that. I did read one review where somebody was complaining about there being too much treble and you had to dial it out on the amp. I didn't experience that at all. So I think for me, for what I'm looking for, it was just right. He also seemed to be more of an old school kind of guy, and he also mentioned that he's when it comes to getting a clean tone, rather than switch to a different channel on his amp or kick off a distortion pedal or something, he's the kind of person who likes to roll off his volume tone or his volume knob and clean it up that way. Active pickups, unfortunately, it's very, very, you can't really do that with active pickups. It's pretty tough. So, with this one, if you want a clean sound out of it, you pretty much you're better off getting a 2-channel amp. Solid mahogany body, rosewood fretboard, mahogany neck, matching headstock, of course, and with the old school Charvel label, or Charvel logo, for guys like me from the 80s and early 90s that grew up loving the original Charvel line, that's a pretty nice touch. And this one actually has locking factory brand tuners. They're not Spurzel or Shell or anything like that. They're just appear to be a off-brand locking tuner, but they seem to hold tune just fine. And then the back, gloss finish on the body all the way around. And they did, they did make this guitar seemingly for me, because they made sure and left the neck as a satin finish, which if you watched my last video, you would know that I really, really am beginning to dig satin necks the older I get, and this thing plays phenomenal, I think, because of it. So, let's plug this thing in, see how it sounds. We are plugged straight into the 6505 Plus combo again. Single 12, 60 watt combo. I'm using a Mogami Gold Series instrument cable. That's the only cable that I use. If we're playing guitar, bass, whatever it is that I'm playing. All my main instrument cables are Mogami Gold Series. So another review on that at another time. I've also got the line out on the amp plugged into a Tascam DR40 handheld recorder to try and see if that clarifies the sound of the guitar a little bit. And we are playing on the gain channel. So this is what it sounds try the neck pickup. Sounds pretty good. You know, one complaint that a lot of people seem to, you know, that a lot of guys have against active pickups, EMGs in particular, pardon me, is that they sound the same in every single guitar on the planet. And my experience with that is there's a lot of truth to that. You know, I've played several guitars with EMGs in it, and that's another thing I plan on doing a review video on here one of these years is you know, demoing back and forth, comparing two different guitars with the same pickups in them. You know, my experience is, you know, you get a really similar tone out of you know, out of EMGs regardless of what guitar that they're in, and you know, but I don't know if that's necessarily, you know, too different from a lot of other pickup brands too. You know, Seymour Duncan is, you know, there's some brands of Seymour Duncan pickup that I go to specifically because I like the tone of them. So take that for what you will. Some guys despise EMGs because of that. Some guys like EMGs because of that. You know, I was kind of an anti-EMG guy for a long time, honestly, until I got this guitar, and then I realized that, you know, that was a tone that I really didn't have in my arsenal, and have kind of grown to appreciate. So, you know, overall, I would give this guitar a solid, you know, when you weigh features versus playability versus tone versus, you know, build quality versus price, you know, which is also an important factor for a lot of people. When you weigh all those things together, I would probably give this thing a solid 7, if not an 8 out of 10. I really like the construction on it. I really like the way it plays. I really like the way it sounds, and I think it's a cool looking guitar. It's definitely a little bit different from some of the other stuff that I own and would normally gravitate towards. You know, I really like a lot of things about it. If I were gonna put any negative on it, you know, it would be that, you know, first and foremost, it's not the most versatile in the world. You know, tone-wise, you know, it's EMG all or nothing. And you know, I'm a guy. I don't generally tend to roll back my volume knob or roll back my tone knob and try and get some different sounds that way. You know, I generally tend to run everything on 10. Play rhythm on the, and a lot of solos on the bridge pickup, and switch over to the neck occasionally, and that's pretty much what I do. So, you know, but if you're a guy that really likes to play with your tone knobs and get some different, you know, some different types of sounds out of just the guitar itself without tweaking your amp and your pedals, you know, this may not be for you. If you're a guy like me and you just kind of like to plug in and, you know, flip everything to, you know, roll it all off all to 10 and, you know, see how hot you can make it, you know, a good, you know, it's worth checking out. The other thing that I have is, you know, the tuners on this thing. You know, my experience with locking tuners, generally they do a pretty good job of holding tune. You know, these I actually had to, you know, I will, you know, you'll notice where I had to edit a couple of times in this video, you know, as I was demoing, and it's because I had to stop and retune it in the middle of it. So, you know, just a disclaimer there, when you see, you know, when you see different breaks in the video footage, that's why. You know, they're not bad. You know, this is not a guitar with a locking tremolo system. You know, take that into consideration. You know, Gibsons, of course, are one of my favorite guitar brands, and the G string on Gibsons are notorious for going out of tune all the time. You know, this thing kind of seems to do a lot of that. You know, that G string, you know, pull out of tune, mid song kind of stuff too. as a guitar player, I've learned to live with it. Not that big of a deal to me. If you're that picky about about a guitar staying in tune, either buy this guitar and change the tuners out on it to something of your liking, or look at a different guitar. So overall, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. A solid 7 out of 10 anyway. Possibly an 8. It's a shame that these things appear to have been discontinued. I have not verified that yet, but they appear to have been discontinued. That is a shame to me because I think it's a fantastic value for the money. So that's all I have today. Go check out the Charvel Skatecaster SK1. Let me know what you think. Please leave your comments down below. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Keep on rocking.